One of the things that the NoFap communities are yet to agree on is what counts as a NoFap relapse. Because a NoFap relapse means different things to different people. When it comes to NoFap, there are different aspects to it that confuses a lot of people. I always get emails from guys asking me things like, I had sex with my partner, is that a NoFap relapse? Or I hate myself with porn, is that a relapse? I watch porn without masturbating, is that a NoFap relapse? Well, in this video, I'll show you the two metrics that will always help you to instantly know whether you've relapsed on your NoFap or not. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'll teach you how to avoid the one thing that causes the relapse of most people on NoFap. But before we get into it, I want to tell you about a NoFap book that has been helping a lot of addicts overcome their porn and masturbation addiction. No matter how long you've been struggling to complete the NoFap challenge, no matter how many times you've relapsed in the past, this book will surely help you break free from the shackles of addiction. You can download the book by clicking on the link in the description below. So, without further ado, let's look at the two ways you can definitely know for sure if you've relapsed on NoFap or not. 1. Using the PMO addiction cycle as a relapse indicator. PMO addiction stands for porn, masturbation, and orgasm addiction. As is the case for most people, if you're a porn addict, there is a high chance of also being a masturbation and orgasm addict. I'm assuming that you're a PMO addict. That's why you're watching this video. I want you to know that the reason why you PMO all the time is to reach the goal of orgasm. Orgasm is the reward that motivates you to PMO. So if you think of PMO addiction as a cycle that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, the beginning of this cycle is a trigger to masturbate to porn. A trigger can be something like seeing a hot girl on the TV. The middle of this cycle is where you actually pick up your device, stream the porn for about 2 hours, and masturbate to it. The end of the PMO addiction cycle is when you actually orgasm. As I said earlier, orgasm is the reward your brain promises you which had you streaming porn for the last 2 hours. So, a relapse for the PMO addict is when it fully completes this addiction cycle. So, for the PMO addict, you relapse when you orgasm to porn, not when you orgasm through partnered sex. But when it comes to NoFap, there are different aspects to it. There are many moving parts, and NoFap means different things to different people. A NoFap relapse isn't always this straightforward or always this black and white. This brings me to the next metric you can always use as a tiebreaker if you're still confused as to whether you've relapsed on NoFap or not. 2. Using your NoFap modes as a relapse indicator. There are different modes of NoFap. The mode of NoFap you would do is the most important thing you need to figure out before starting NoFap at all. Because over the years, I've seen people that are just masturbation and orgasm addicts, or people that are just porn addicts and not that addicted to masturbation and orgasm. The mode you choose would depend on the level of your addiction and which specific addiction you want to get rid of. The most popular modes of NoFap are 1. The easy mode of NoFap. This is where you only abstain from porn when you're doing NoFap. In this mode, sex, masturbation, and orgasm are all allowed. And I usually recommend this mode to the very rare group of people that are only addicted to porn and not to masturbation and orgasm. So, if you're doing this mode, it's whenever you watch porn that you've relapsed. 2. The hard mode of NoFap. This mode is also known as the no PMO mode. In this mode, you can't watch porn, you can't masturbate, and you can't orgasm at all. So the relapse rule of the hard mode are even stricter. Completing the PMO addiction cycle that I described previously is a relapse in this mode. Having sex is also a relapse when you're doing this mode of NoFap. 3. The normal mode of NoFap. This is the most popular mode of NoFap. In this mode, you can't watch porn or masturbate to it, but you can have sex and orgasm. A relapse in this mode is when you masturbate to porn and orgasm through the act. This is completing the PMO addiction cycle we talked about earlier. If you watch porn or masturbate and you didn't complete the cycle of addiction by orgasming, you are just edging yourself. Speaking of something called edging on NoFap, this brings me to the way in which you can avoid falling into the relapse stage that a lot of people fall into on NoFap. Edging will eventually push you over the edge. For instance, if you are on NoFap normal mode and you are edging yourself to porn, or you are edging yourself without porn, and you are able to stop without ejaculating, you have technically not relapsed yet. But hold your phone. Don't be thinking it's alright to be edging while you're on NoFap. I don't care how long your NoFap streak's been, once you get to the middle of the PMO addiction cycle, 99 times out of 100, you will definitely reach the end of the addiction cycle. A popular way that people use to get themselves to the middle and not to the end of the cycle is by hedging. But from everybody's experience on NoFap, without any exception, once you start edging, you will eventually relapse. It's like an alcoholic that's trying to stop drinking but has this bright idea to buy alcohol, open it up and bring it up to his nose to sniff it. And after sniffing it, plans to close the lid and put the bottle down. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that he will eventually take a sip. In other words, if you're on NoFap and you're taking a peek at porn, or you're hedging yourself in a way, thinking it's all harmless fun, I can promise you that in a short time, you will fully relapse. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more insightful NoFap videos like this. See you in the next one.